Um, this topic, I would like to go and talk about another source of inspiration for me as a person and things that have helped me to get through hard times. That I don't know. It makes me feel weird to talk about, but I would like to go and share this too because I think that I don't know. I'd like to go and give more credit in a certain way to people. I don't want to name who this time. I did this earlier with music artists. Um, there's more of the entertainment industry that has helped me through a lot of rough times, and I won't dare say that I know everything about the entertainment industry or that everything's true or what's not true or anything like that. But I did want to go and say something about um, well, my very amateur, poorly knowledgeable opinion on the entertainment industry, but in a positive way. Um, Coming from somebody who when they were young didn't have very many people to talk to, and didn't have much of a way to see the world, I grew my own kind of interest and connection through, well, entertainment, through watching things like TV. And I can understand the why it's people say that things are all fake and things like that. But I wanted to go and start sharing positive energy because a lot of the time I hear a lot of negativity towards certain things. Um well, I think that one of the main things I wanted to go and talk about was that um when I was younger and I used to go and watch TV, I used to see a lot of TV shows and a lot of different views on things back then. And even though some things may have been wrong, or even though some things may have been not smart to go and show or share, there were a lot more subjects covered, in my opinion, back then than there are now. And a lot smaller subjects that have something to do with personal lives more, and the everyman, woman, and in general, just person. There were always big adventures and little adventures, and there were always these lessons that no matter how little the adventure was, it was still always big, in one way or another. And it feels like that is not as prevalent today. I didn't have anybody to look up to very much growing up because I wasn't allowed to be around very many people. And I was shy, and when I was allowed to be around anyone, I was the shy, weird kid. So I didn't really have very many people to talk to or to spend the right time around. And I wasn't able to go and hear or see how nice the world really could be. I was raised to believe that the world was awful, and that it sounded like to me that there was nothing good out in the world. Like, at all. And I don't mean like all the bad stuff that we're all aware of that can happen, and that does happen at certain times and sometimes in certain places. No, not that type of thing. No, just in general, everything was bad. And, well, I can't get too much into it because it's a long thing, and I've already written down kind of that part just a little bit more to explain it better. So I'm not going to get too deep into that. But yeah. Um I've gone through a lot of that, and I always needed someone to look up to and have a good example. Now, I am well aware that people can fake who they are and people can play pretend and not show pieces of themselves, and the world is a very, very, very big place. However, on a more positive note, I like to think that all of the things that I've watched on television and in movies, and even sometimes in music videos and music, that all those things that I've seen, that there are little bits of truth to every one of them. And I'd like to also think that everyone that we see who goes and plays those parts, I think the best way to view them is similar to how I've grown up now to see, which is that they are literally just people. I understand holding people in high regards for the things that they do and where they are in life. But I feel as though there's been put too much pressure on a lot of people in the world for their views and for what they do. But at the same time, I feel like people that are always in the camera's eye, I feel like that's not only a lot of pressure, but I also feel like there's a lot of judgment there. And I think that, yes, everybody, it will be judged. And I believe that everybody, well, yeah, everybody will be judged. The more you're out there in the world, the more likely you will be, and things like that. However, I do believe that at the end of the day, no matter who it is, and no matter who's out there in the world, that everyone are just people. And it's not to downplay anyone's voice in the world. And it's not to downplay anyone's actions either. But I feel like people's lives and the actions that they make sometimes get too much credit, while other things don't get enough because of that. I enjoyed what I have seen of people because I saw them still as people and not as guidelines to follow, and not as, I don't know. I know it sounds creepy now for me to go and say, but to be honest, I didn't have anyone at that time, so when I was looking at those things like TV shows and movies, and I found not exactly what someone would call a friend, because that doesn't make any sense, and I'm well aware that it doesn't. But I found something akin to that. Being able to go and see people do things, and that was their job, to portray things. And I used to spend time just being happy watching interviews of the work that they put into the movies that they did, and the movies themselves. And the people who did those interviews, the people that tried, the people that were able to discuss such things, and the movies themselves and the TV shows, those things helped me to not only believe that everything could be okay and that people could be okay, but it also helped me to connect with humanity, even though I couldn't be around anyone. And I don't think that those people should be treated like friends because you don't know them necessarily. And they're still, but the truth is that they're people. And just like how I think there are plenty of people online and things like that, or plenty of people in the entertainment industry now that everybody just likes to go and watch and likes to go and see do things. I feel like that goes the same for people making movies, and at least I guess actors and actresses and things. And I've seen so much stuff on it, and there's so much drama, and it's always so intense, and there's always so many headlines on just, I don't know how big each choice and each thing they say is now. Maybe it's always been that way, but I think that at some point we're forgetting that those people are just people, and they can't be, well, the right kind of person or good people to everyone. I think that all that pressure being put on a person is not good mentally. And I've noticed that there's also been less fun movies and TV shows as of late. And no matter how much anyone tries, it doesn't last very long anymore. Things don't last very long anymore. And I feel like those things are connected. That there's so much pressure now to be the perfect, and to be not just perfect, but perfect to everyone. To have to to have to make a choice of what's right and what's wrong. And if you choose wrong, there's so much weight that comes crashing down, and there's so much that can be lost these days. I feel like everybody needs to kind of come together and be able to understand that no matter who's doing what, even people who make movies are people, and they're going to have opinions and different things that they do and different choices and things that they say, and make very not smart actions and do not very smart things, just like anyone else in the world. And I'm saying this because, well, I wanted to go and share the fact of how much that world in itself has meant so much to me, and how I think that it means so much and has meant so much to others too. Because the things that are shown or shared, I still think mean something. I think that the people who are trying their best in their job, and who can be honest during interviews and things like that, I think that those people deserve Mm, what's the best word? It's hard to find the right words because a lot of words can be minced or not understood properly, but I feel as though people should get more credit for just being human and not so much for being a either idol or a mm, pedestal, so to speak, being put on a pedestal. And I feel like that's a lot more common these days. I kind of miss when people were able to just have their opinion on something, and that just be their opinion. And if they're wrong, they're wrong. And if they're right, they're right. And if no one cares, just no one's listening about that right now, and no one's interested about that right now. I kind of miss when that was the case. And I could be wrong, maybe that still is, but it doesn't feel like it anymore. And it's kind of sad. I miss those days. I've been watching a lot more movies that aren't so new anymore. And everything seems so much nicer. Things seemed happier then. And I know they weren't. But at the same time, nothing has ever been always happy. And I partially want to say this because not to really defend any particular person. And not really to go and say, hey, don't hold people accountable for their actions. But more so, maybe treat them like they're an individual person. And how we would treat anybody else that just is doing things. Because that's what they are. That's what everyone is. Um, I don't know. I had a lot of people that I liked when I was younger. A lot of role models that I call them that. Because I don't have any other better word. I looked up to the smiles that I saw and the passion that I noticed in their jobs and the things that made me feel like people could just go and do the things that they love with hard work and maybe make something for themselves, paint beautiful pictures for the mind, and teach lessons that way. And I miss when that was more prevalent and that was a bigger thing. And the pictures were so much bigger and better painted. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of good things now. But it feels like there's less. And it feels like it's not for every person anymore. And I just wanted to also kind of say to a lot of people that were in the entertainment industry and that are, um, I wanted to kind of go and make this kind of my own personal way of going and saying kind of like a thank you. It's kind of hard for me to go and say it because it feels like what if I were to just say this, and I'm always nervous to share these things. It feels like if I say this, I'm worried that it's going to be a problem, and I don't want it to be. But to a lot of the people in the world, besides all the scary stuff that I hear and the things that obviously are not okay to do, all the classic movies that I watched and all the things that I've seen, not classic as in really, really way far back, but, you know, the people that have been popular back in the day. All the people that that not just me, but plenty of others have watched and seen and has made an impact on the world. I want to go and say that those things helped me out a lot growing up. And I feel like they've helped a lot of other people too. I feel like the entertainment industry helps inspire people, and that it's not just a job to go and it's not one thing or another. It's a way to go and paint pictures and tell stories to humanity. And the more vivid it is, and the more points that can be made, and the different messages and the balance of things, the better. Not all messages have to go and be super extreme. And sometimes things can still just be friendly and kind, and it still be good. I feel like I've said enough so far, but yeah. Maybe I could name some movies that I've always liked to watch, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave it at that. And if anybody actually watches this video and watches all of it, then you can comment what you think, respectfully, and ask maybe and we can maybe discuss movies that seemed nice or seem nice. Maybe we can discuss, I don't know, stuff like that. I don't know how this video will be well received. I don't think that I'm special at all enough for it to go and get to a lot of people, and a lot of people want to talk about it. Because I know I'm just a random person in the world. And, like, there's really nothing remarkable about me, not even remarkable about this video I'm making. But, yeah. I just wanted to go and mention that because, well, I look forward to every time those things come out. I can feel the energy, so to speak, from what's being put into the world. I felt that way about video games and TV shows and movies and all kinds of stuff for a long time. And I can feel the passion and the work that's put into it. And I feel like I can go and tell that certain people, with all their flaws, worked hard to go and make something. And maybe they have made or done something that I don't know about that is fucked up. But at the same time, I feel like I can almost understand that it's not like that for everyone, and I can tell that some people are just people, just trying their best. And that connection, that energy, it makes me happy. I've seen, like every movie that I've watched, certain movies give me a feeling that sets a mood for me for the entire day, even an entire week. And some that inspire me. I'm inspired to not only be a better person, but live and have a better and do better things, to think about and and question even my own way of doing things, because there are different views about how life and how people live their lives and how people do things, both in a fantasy way and like how people, and using fantasy to express more or just using straight up reality in real life to do it. And I, that energy, I don't think is just all fake and all a lie. I feel like there's something more to it than that. And I always have since I was a kid. And I haven't been proven wrong yet fully. I kind of just want the people who do all that hard work and the ones that are just trying their best to hopefully not just be doing okay, but in a world that seems to be getting harder, that there can be some connection between people who just want to go and make something for everyone and inspire and paint pictures with their words and what they do when they make a story or a part of a story or in a story. I would like for there to be a connection between that and the people who watch. And because that connection for me has helped me when I didn't have very much to go by. And those messages and those things were important. I really hope that what I'm saying can be understood and can be understood for the better and not for the worse. I've even contemplated wanting to talk about this. And like I said before, I don't want to name names because I'm shy about it. I feel very awkward because I was weird when I was younger, and I know I was. And I don't want to go and name any names and somehow it gets out and I make other people uncomfortable, or people don't understand exactly why or what I'm doing, or I don't want to be misunderstood, and I don't really want all that. So I don't really feel like sharing it right now. Maybe somebody can go and get me to share it. Maybe somebody can go and have a conversation, and as long as people are nice and actually want to talk about it, then yeah. But yeah. I wanted to talk about that this time. And maybe I'll move on to something else next time. Anyway, goodbye. Comment and like my stuff and subscribe and if you want and if you like my things. Also give me ideas on what to talk about. Okay. Bye.